Maya was 16 and lived in the heart of London. The city streets were busy, filled with people hurrying to work, the occasional cyclist weaving past, and the aroma of fresh bread from nearby bakeries. Despite the bustle, Maya loved walking through quieter corners of the city, where the brick buildings and green parks made her feel calm. But even in these peaceful moments, her mind often wandered to thoughts she had never shared with anyone. Maya had a secret: she was attracted to girls. It was something she had never told her friends, not her family, not anyone. She didn't feel ashamed, but she did feel different, and that difference sometimes made her nervous. At school, life seemed normal on the surface. Maya had friends, she joined clubs, and she tried to keep up with her studies. Yet inside, she felt a constant flutter in her chest whenever she noticed certain girls. Any girl with a kind smile, expressive eyes, or gentle laugh caught her attention. It was as if her heart recognized something familiar in them, something that made her feel alive and connected in a way she didn't understand. One Monday morning, a new student joined her class. Her name was Ava. She had shoulder-length brown hair, warm hazel eyes, and a soft smile that seemed to light up the classroom. The moment Maya saw her, her stomach did a little flip, her heart raced, and her hands felt slightly cold. She had felt crushes before, but this was different. It was immediate, intense, and confusing. Maya's best friend, Lily, noticed the way Maya kept glancing at Ava. "Who is she?" Lily asked softly, nudging Maya with her elbow. "That's Ava. She just joined our class," Maya replied, her voice barely a whisper. She felt her cheeks heat up. She didn't want Lily or anyone else to know how she really felt. Over the next few weeks, Maya found herself noticing Ava everywhere. In the classroom, during breaks, and even in the hallways, her eyes would unconsciously follow Ava's movements. Every glance, every small gesture made her heart pound. Maya tried to act normal, but inside she was constantly thinking about Ava. One rainy afternoon, Maya and Lily stayed back in the library to finish a project. The warm smell of old books mixed with the faint scent of rain outside made the room feel cozy. Ava was there too, quietly reading a novel. Maya's heart thumped as she watched her, wishing she could sit closer, but fearing she might seem strange. "Go on," Lily whispered. "Talk to her. Just say hi." Maya took a deep breath, her hands slightly trembling. "Hi, I'm Maya. I think we are in the same history class." Ava looked up and smiled warmly. "Yes, I'm Ava. Nice to meet you." That smile made Maya feel like she was floating. It was small, simple, but it made her chest feel light and warm. They began talking about school projects, favorite books and movies. Ava's laugh was soft and melodic, and every time Maya heard it, she felt a strange, comforting joy. In the weeks that followed, Maya and Ava grew closer. They shared lunches, worked on assignments together, and sometimes walked home after school when their routes matched. Maya treasured these moments, though she still kept her deeper feelings hidden. She didn't know if Ava could ever feel the same way, and the thought both excited and scared her. Maya often wrote about Ava in her diary, filling page after page with her observations, dreams, and tiny confessions. She noticed everything: the way Ava tucked her hair behind her ear, the little crinkle of her nose when she laughed, the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about her favorite stories. Each detail made Maya's heart flutter, and each day she found herself thinking of Ava more and more. Sometimes Maya imagined holding Ava's hand, walking together in the park, or whispering to her about her feelings. Fear held her back. She worried about what people might say, about being judged, about ruining the friendship that was already so precious. But with each passing day, Maya learned more about herself and her emotions. Love was confusing, exhilarating, and a little frightening, but it was real. School life was full of ups and downs. Some days, Maya walked through the corridors with a light step, her heart lifted by just seeing Ava nearby. Other days, she felt heavy with worry, imagining the consequences if anyone discovered her secret. But through it all, she cherished every laugh, every shared secret, and every small gesture of friendship. London, with its mix of crowded streets, quiet parks, and cozy cafes, became the backdrop for Maya's first real experience of love. Hyde Park, in particular, was her favorite spot. She loved walking along the tree-lined paths, listening to birds, and watching the light filter through the branches. It was here, in these quiet moments, that she felt free to think about Ava without fear. One evening, as the sun began to set and cast a golden glow over Hyde Park, Maya and Ava sat on a bench, talking about their favorite books. The conversation flowed easily, filled with laughter and gentle teasing. For the first time, Maya felt comfortable enough to say a little of what was in her heart. "I really enjoy spending time with you," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Ava smiled, tilting her head slightly. "I enjoy spending time with you too, Maya. You're easy to talk to." It was a small moment, but for Maya it felt monumental. Her heart felt full, and for a moment the world seemed to hold its breath around them. Though she hadn't confessed everything, she felt a connection stronger than anything she had known. Maya knew that this was only the beginning of her journey. She was learning about her heart, her feelings, and the intensity of first love. London's busy streets, rainy afternoons, and quiet corners mirrored the mixture of fear, hope, and happiness that she felt inside. By the end of the school term, Maya realized something important. Love could be confusing, sometimes scary, but it was also beautiful and transformative. Her connection with Ava had awakened feelings she could not ignore, feelings that would stay with her forever. As Maya walked home one evening, the sky painted in shades of orange and pink by the setting sun, she smiled softly. She thought of Ava and the moments they had shared. Her first crush, her first experience of deep emotional attachment, was shaping her in ways she had never expected. It was innocent yet intense, simple yet unforgettable, and she knew she was ready to face whatever came next with courage, hope, and an open heart. Years passed, and Maya grew into a young woman. Her school days with Ava became memories, sweet and bittersweet. She still thought of Ava sometimes, the way her laughter could light up a room, the small gestures that had made Maya's heart race. But life had moved on, as it always does. Maya's parents wanted her to settle down, and in time she was introduced to Daniel, a kind and intelligent young man who lived in the same part of London. Daniel was thoughtful, caring, and respected Maya's opinions. On paper, he seemed like the perfect partner. Maya agreed to the marriage, telling herself it was the right choice. She hoped that over time love would grow between them. The wedding day was beautiful. The ceremony was held in a small hall in central London with soft music playing in the background and flowers lining the aisle. Maya looked radiant in her dress, and Daniel was handsome and nervous in his suit. Family and friends gathered to celebrate, their smiles bright and eyes glistening with emotion. It was a day filled with joy, yet deep inside, Maya felt a subtle ache, a quiet reminder of a love she had never fully expressed. The early days of married life were gentle. Daniel was attentive and tried his best to make Maya happy. They shared meals, walked through London streets together, and spent evenings talking about their future. Yet, despite his kindness, Maya felt a growing distance between her outward life and her inner heart. The love she felt for Ava, though unspoken, still lingered. It was during one evening, as Maya prepared dinner in their small but cozy flat, that her mother-in-law, Margaret, came to visit. Margaret was warm, attentive, and surprisingly perceptive. She noticed the subtle ways Maya moved, the quiet glances she sometimes cast into the distance, and the gentle sighs that escaped her lips when she thought no one was watching. "Maya, dear," Margaret said softly, "are you happy?" Maya froze for a moment. She looked at Margaret, unsure how much to reveal. I think so," she replied cautiously. Margaret smiled gently, her eyes kind but knowing. "I hope you are. Happiness is too precious to hide." Though Maya couldn't fully explain her feelings, she began to realize that Margaret saw something in her that others didn't. There was a subtle bond forming, one that was different from what she felt with Daniel. With Margaret, she felt understood, seen, and oddly safe. Over the following months, Maya's relationship with Daniel continued politely, with respect and care, but her heart gravitated toward Margaret. She found herself seeking her company, enjoying long conversations, and feeling a warmth she couldn't quite describe. Margaret, in turn, seemed drawn to Maya not inappropriately, but with a deep affection that grew with time. She noticed Maya's unspoken sorrow and sought to comfort her, to guide her through the challenges of life. One evening, as London's streets glimmered with the lights of the setting sun, Maya and Margaret sat together in the living room, sipping tea. The air was thick with unspoken words. Finally, Margaret spoke. "Maya," she said gently, "I feel that you carry a love in your heart that isn't mine or Daniel's. Am I right?" Maya's heart skipped a beat. She didn't know whether to be relieved or terrified. I don't know how to explain," she whispered, her voice trembling. Margaret reached out, placing a comforting hand on hers. "It's okay. Love is complicated. But you are not alone. I understand more than you think." The confession, though silent, brought relief. Maya realized she was not judged, not rejected. Margaret's empathy gave her a sense of freedom she had never experienced. Yet, the conflict within her remained her duty and commitment to Daniel, the love she felt for Margaret, and the unspoken emotions that haunted her every moment. Months passed, and Maya's internal struggle intensified. She tried to fulfill her role as a wife, to build a life with Daniel, and yet her heart continuously reached for Margaret. It was during a quiet afternoon, while Margaret and Maya were organizing old family photos, that the situation escalated. A faint chest pain overtook Margaret, an unexpected heart attack. Maya's panic was immediate. She called for help, stayed by her side, and felt an overwhelming fear of losing someone who had become a central part of her emotional world. In the hospital, as doctors attended to Margaret, Maya sat quietly by her bed, reflecting on the depth of her feelings. Margaret had always treated her with warmth, kindness, and an unspoken love that transcended conventional boundaries. Maya realized that Margaret's affection had not been romantic in the typical sense. It had been protective, nurturing, and accepting, but it had awakened a part of Maya that had remained hidden for years. When Margaret recovered, she and Maya shared a quiet understanding. No words were necessary. The bond between them was unbreakable. Yet, Maya was left with an aching awareness of her own desires and the constraints of her life with Daniel. As months turned into years, Maya became a mother of 2 children. The joy of motherhood brought its own fulfillment, but her heart continued to wrestle with the love she had for Margaret. In private moments, she would reflect on the laughter they shared, the advice Margaret gave, and the subtle glances that carried meaning beyond words. Margaret, though always respectful of Maya's role as a wife and mother, continued to nurture their connection, aware of the delicate balance that life demanded. Maya's life had become a tapestry of emotions, duty, love, longing, and care. She learned to navigate this complex web, understanding that love could take many forms and that it was possible to care deeply for more than one person in different ways. The tension between societal expectations, personal desire, and the bonds of family created a rich emotional landscape in which Maya lived. Through these experiences, Maya matured in ways she could not have predicted. Her connection with Margaret taught her empathy, patience, and the subtle power of understanding without judgment. Her life with Daniel, though loving and respectful, reminded her of the complexities of human relationships and the sacrifices sometimes necessary for family harmony. London, with its ever-changing skies, bustling streets, and quiet parks, continued to be the backdrop of her journey. From the crowded markets to the serene walks along the Thames, every corner of the city held memories of laughter, conflict, and hidden emotions. Maya learned to cherish these experiences, understanding that her heart's journey was uniquely hers, shaped by love, longing, and resilience. As Maya sat one evening on a bench in a quiet park, watching her children play nearby, she felt a wave of contentment mixed with melancholy. Life had given her a complicated but rich tapestry of experiences: marriage, motherhood, friendship, and a love that defied conventional boundaries. She realized that true strength lay not in choosing one form of love over another, but in embracing the full spectrum of human emotion with courage and honesty. Though her heart had once been confined to secret longings from her teenage years, it had grown, expanded, and learned to hold multiple truths. Maya understood that love was not a single path, but a journey with many branches, each holding its own lessons, joys, and sorrows. And so, in the heart of London, Maya continued her life, balancing the responsibilities of marriage and motherhood with the profound, enduring love she shared with Margaret. It was a life filled with complexities, yes, but also one of depth, connection, and unspoken beauty. Every step she took through the streets, every laugh shared with family, every quiet moment with Margaret reinforced the understanding that love, in all its forms, was worth embracing fully.